Hi, I'm Jordan from Kettner Creative. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up and connect the Shure MV7 hybrid microphone. It's both USB and XLR with the GoXLR audio interface or audio mixer for live streaming. If you are looking for pricing or specs for anything that you see in this video, we do have links down in the description below with current up-to-date pricing from a variety of online retailers to make sure that you are getting the best price possible if you are looking to purchase anything that you see in this video. Now, for the purposes of this video, we are not going to be using the USB functionality of the Shure MV7. When you're using the GoXLR, it's assumed that you do want to be using the matrix mixing, the built-in effects, and the other benefits of the GoXLR. So in order to do that, we're going to bypass what is built into the Shure MV7. Also, for the purposes of this video, the audio mixer here is already set up and connected to our computer, so we can get right into the best settings possible if you are looking to stream with this setup. Now, before we set up and connect this microphone to the audio mixer here, we do want to make sure that we have good mic placement. This is the foundation to everything sounding correct. You want to make sure that you're about a fist away from the Shure MV7 microphone. If you're farther away, you're going to have to compensate with more gain or more volume from the mixer, and that's going to make the microphone sound super sensitive. If you get too close to the microphone, it's going to sound boomy and poppy. This microphone doesn't have amazing plosive protection, so you will hear pops and smacks and that type of thing if you do get too close. Ideally, you want to position yourself in such a way that you're about a fist away. If you're looking for mic stand or mic boom arm recommendations to help accommodate getting that distance set correctly, we do have links down in the description below, but this is foundational to the rest of the settings working correctly for you. Now that we got that out of the way, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to connect the Shure MV7 to the GoXLR. You do have two options, and I only recommend one of them. I do not recommend that you use a cable like this that goes XLR to 1/8 inch jack and then use the alternate mic input on the back of the GoXLR. This will not give you the best sound possible. For the best results, you want to use what the GoXLR is really good at. It has a really nice Midas preamp inside it for the XLR port. So I recommend using a proper run-of-the-mill XLR cable here, male to female. You can get whatever length you want that will suit your studio. I happen to like using color cables because it helps keep me organized when I have a lot of cables going, but you don't have to do that. But you do just want a standard XLR cable. So I'm going to connect that to the back of the microphone. And then I'm going to connect the other end to the back of the GoXLR. Next, to make sure that I can hear everything properly, I'm going to put my headphones on here. And then we're going to go into the mic settings of the GoXLR software, and we're going to go into the mic setup window. Here, we're going to set the gain for the microphone. For me, I usually set it somewhere around 50 dB when I'm using the Shure MV7. Again, do make sure that you have proper mic positioning, that you are within about a fist of the microphone, because that will make sure that the gain is set up properly. As you watch this meter as I'm speaking, you can see that I'm on the high end of what it calls good. Just from experience, I know 49 to 50 dB works really well for how I speak into the microphone, so I'm going to leave it there. You should leave the microphone on the dynamic setting here. There's no benefit to switching this to be a condenser setting. What that does is it sends 48 volts of phantom power to the Shure MV7. It won't necessarily hurt the Shure MV7, it's just completely unnecessary. So it is best practice to leave it turned off if you're not using it. And again, we're not going to recommend that you use the 3.5 millimeter input on the back of the GoXLR. I believe you get much better results using the XLR preamp. So we're going to use the XLR cable. We're going to set this to dynamic. 50 decibels a gain, then we're going to hit OK. Okay, so now that we have the gain set up correctly, we can talk about the noise gate. This is the first setting that we have on the GoXLR. The noise gate is a handy tool. You can think of it as a way to automatically mute and unmute the microphone for you. The most famous use case for a noise gate would be around something like a drum kit. You have a single instrument that might have somewhere between 3 and 12 microphones on it, and what you want to happen is you want, when you hit the snare drum, it unmutes the snare drum, it captures that sound, it records it, and then it mutes the microphone again. When you hit the floor tom, it opens up that microphone for you, but you don't want all the microphones hot all the time. This allows for a lot more control in the sound if it is automatically opening and releasing the microphone as you use each instrument around the drum kit. Now, lately this has been more common in things like home studios, and this can be a helpful tool for muting the microphone when you're not speaking into it if you have things like background noise, fan noise, roommates, anything like that that can be distracting to your live stream. The downside of using a noise gate is that its muting and unmuting can sound unnatural, and sometimes it can be more distracting than for what it's worth. If you're doing a talking head video like I'm doing right now, where I'm just talking to the camera, there's no background noise, I recommend avoiding the use of a noise gate if at all possible. A noise gate can be helpful, however, if you are using it with something like game noise, because that game noise will help mask the noise gate clicking in and out, and then it'll just automatically unmute the microphone for you when you're speaking into it, and then it's a very useful tool. Now I'm going to show you what happens here if you set the threshold too aggressively. As you bring this up, you're going to notice that you can start to hear it click in and out as I stop speaking. And when I come back in, you can kind of notice that some of the syllables are getting clipped. This is a symptom of it being set too aggressively. It's really choppy sounding, but some of that can be mitigated by masking it with game noise. For me, I generally set this really relaxed. I like the noise gate to break the second I start speaking into the microphone. Somewhere between -50 and -45 dB is as aggressive as I would go. Even then, you can hear it clicking in and out right now, and it can be somewhat distracting. Another way that you can help mitigate that distracting clicking in and out is by changing the attenuation of the noise gate. The attenuation will control how much of the microphone is getting muted when the noise gate is gating or holding the microphone back. By setting this to 50%, it means that when the noise gate is in, when the microphone is muted, then it's only muting or controlling 50% of the sound. This means that when you break the noise gate and the microphone opens up, it sounds a little bit more natural because it's only ever muting it down to 50%, if that makes sense. So something like the settings I have here at -50 and 50% with the attack and release at 10 milliseconds and 200 milliseconds respectively is a really good setting that I would use for a live stream. But like I said, the rest of this video is talking head. I don't want to hear the noise gate clicking in and out as I talk about the other settings here. So I am going to turn that threshold down now, but this is the setting I would recommend for you. Next, we have the EQ. There's a lot of different strategies around EQing for live stream. There's a lot of YouTube videos on there where they give some settings to bolster the low end to make you sound really authoritative like an AM radio. That's not my preference, and that's not my strategy for live streaming. I come at this from the perspective of mixing sound sources together. You want things to play nice together. What that means to me is just like if I was mixing a band on a stage, I want to EQ each sound source or each instrument so you can sit back from the mix and hear everything cleanly. I can hear the kick drum separate from the bass guitar. I can hear things like acoustic guitar, piano, and vocals all separately. The volumes can all be set the same, but when you stand back from the mix, it all sounds clear because each instrument is in the frequency range that it's supposed to be, and that's what provides it the most clarity. So what we're going to do with our EQ settings here, instead of fattening the low end to give that big, bold radio voice, we want to make space for game noise, and we want to make sure that your voice is as clear as possible with as little volume as possible. This means that when you're speaking, everybody on your live stream can hear you, but it's all playing nice together with the other sound sources on your stream. So the first thing that we're going to do here, we're not going to use this fine tune. I can't get the fine tune settings the way I want, so we're just going to use the default settings here. I'm going to roll off 31.5 hertz all the way down and 63 hertz down to about -3. This is basically building what's known as a high pass filter. We're taking this microphone out of all of your audience's subwoofer because there's nothing in the vocal range that is appropriate for a subwoofer. I would say 99% of all vocal mics on any recording would have something like this added to it because it just helps to clean up the mix. And again, this is creating more space for things like special effects and game noise that might be accentuated down here. So it will create a cleaner mix for your audience that's listening online. The next thing I would do is, if I had the perfect choice here, I would lower 400 hertz to about -3. Even if we enable the fine tune, I can't sweep these to 400 hertz, so I'm just going to leave it off. I'm going to take 500 hertz down to about -2. This will open up the low mid. Again, you should probably hear it now if you're wearing headphones. It's a pretty big change that will open up the low mid of the voice, create more clarity in the voice. So as we're working through here, we're going to do things that make you stand out amongst everything else on the live stream. 1 kilohertz is fine. I'm going to boost 2 kilohertz by 2 and 4 kilohertz by 1. Generally, the clarity of your voice, depending on your voice, is somewhere between 1.5 kilohertz and 3 kilohertz. This is where the main intelligibility, the meat and potatoes of people hearing you be articulate without being too sibilant or anything like that. This is where you get clarity. So it's really important that you boost those, because we want these frequencies of your voice to stand out among the game noise so you are clearly heard. Next, we're going to leave the 8K and we're going to chop the 16 kilohertz all the way down to about -4. Again, in those really high sibilant frequencies, there's no clarity, there's no benefit from having vocal up in that 16 kilohertz. And again, we're just creating more space. A very high percentage of people can't even hear above 10, 12, 14K. So by chopping this, we're just creating a bit more clarity and we're focusing on the frequencies that matter for your voice. If you look at this EQ graph, you're going to notice that this is very, very similar to popular microphones like the Shure SM58 and other similar microphones that are vocal-only microphones. That's for a reason. This is a very standard, very popular EQ graph that will help you accentuate the frequencies that you need for your voice while still chopping other frequencies to make more room for other instruments. That's exactly what we're doing. Again, this is a very popular EQ graph that you can look up in other places as well. So that's what I'd recommend for the EQ. Next, we have the compressor. The compressor is a very helpful tool for narrowing the dynamic range of your microphone. What this means is it will make your loudest moments a little bit quieter and your quietest moments a little bit louder. It makes it more predictable in the mix. So if you get emotional, dynamic, if you rage quit, anything like that, you're not actually going to slam the stream with a whole bunch of volume. Your emotion should still come through. You don't want to squish it to take all the emotion out, but you want to make it more controlled so you're not constantly having to mix the levels on your audio mixer for your live stream. You want it a bit more predictable. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to lower the threshold to -15. So if 0 is peaking, we're working in a range. Right now, as you're listening to this, we're probably in a range of -20 to -12 where I'm recording. That's when we set our gain to be 50 dB. That's a normal working volume. So we want everything that goes above -15 as we approach 0 to where we would peak. We want everything above -15 to get squished at a compression ratio of 3.2 to 1. What this means is everything above -15 will get squashed 3 to 1. 3.2 to 1 is a fairly middle setting. You can go 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, and you can go less as well. If you undercompress, you're not going to get the benefit of the compressor here. It's not going to be as helpful of a tool. If you overcompress, you're going to take all the emotion out. You're basically just putting a limiter on it and you're squishing it and it won't sound dynamic. One of the worst things that you can do to any vocal is overcompress, because it does take the personality out of the microphone and just makes it sound like a robot. So you don't want to do that. So -15 and 3.2 to 1 are really good. So we brought it down. Now I said that compressors will also make your quieter moments a little bit louder. So we need to compensate for this by adding a little bit of makeup gain. We're going to add 5 decibels of makeup gain here. So that's going to add more gain to the whole channel. It's going to push us up into the compressor. I really wish the GoXLR had a compression meter so you could see the squish that's actively happening. But what's basically happening is this is pushing us up into the compressor where we're constantly getting squished at 3.2 to 1 to narrow that dynamic range. Right now, you should hear the voice get a little bit louder, a little bit more predictable, and tightens that dynamic range, again, just to make it more predictable in your live stream. The next tool that we have here is the DeEsser. If you have a lisp, a lot of mouth noise, or a really sensitive microphone, or even depending on your EQ choices, a DeEsser will generally make you more pleasant to listen to. I'm going to change it here to be about 50%. This will get rid of all the annoying and grating frequencies in your live stream to make it more palatable for people to listen to you for prolonged periods of time. This isn't as critical if you're doing a 15, 20, 30-minute live stream, but once you start going to an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, or anything like that, this will make it a lot nicer for people to listen to you for a more prolonged period of time. So it's a very helpful tool. Just like anything here, you can overdo it. I like setting it right in the middle at 50%. But if you are somebody that struggles with S sounds, if you have a lisp, it's really helpful. If you're not making those S sounds, maybe you want to leave it dialed back a little bit because you do need some of those sibilant frequencies to help you out to be more clear. So I'm just going to review everything that we've done here. I'm going to put the noise gate back into where I recommend it so you can hear the full concept here. So the noise gate is set so it will actively break the second I start speaking at -50 with an attenuation of 50%. This means that when I'm not speaking, it will only mute 50% of the background noise. I don't recommend this for talking head videos like this one. I'm just turning it on right now so you can hear it. Your EQ here, we have a built-in high pass filter with a low mid cut. We have a bump around the intelligibility frequencies of 2 and 4 kilohertz. That's as close as we can get on the GoXLR settings. And we have a chop at the end at 16 kilohertz. We have a pretty conservative compressor set here that's just tightening up the dynamic range a little bit without over compressing. We're keeping it nice and loose. Again, we do want that emotion of the vocal to come through. We don't want it too flat, but we do want to make it easier to mix for a long period of time. And if you're doing a live stream for a long period of time, this is one thing that the GoXLR has over the GoXLR Mini, which is a DeEsser. Again, super powerful, makes it more pleasant to listen to for a longer period of time. I hope this video is helpful. If you have any comments or questions about anything that we covered, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you are watching this video because you want to make sure you understand everything correctly before you buy, you're now looking to buy, we do have some links down in the description below with everything that you see here and some other recommended gear as well. If you're looking at things like boom arms or mic stands or anything like that, please check those links for current up-to-date pricing. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.